Hi everybody, Paul here from Hill Country Rings. I got one more little project I want to do on my lathe. When I'm working on rings here and I want to make sure that I'm cutting a certain distance or a certain piece of wood, a certain thickness, and I'm basically going this way and coming back with a boring bar. I want to make sure that I'm not moving, that the carriage isn't moving around like that. And it'll do that, and people I know that cut a lot of metal, they have a real problem when they're trying to surface off a piece of metal. It tends to push the carriage out as you get closer to the center, and you get kind of a rounded finish. The metal gets rounded in the middle. So to prevent that, is really need to lock the carriage. And I've seen several ways to lock the carriage without having a carriage lock. One option that I've seen is to put the carriage in the lathe in neutral, so the lead screw doesn't turn, and then just lock down the half nut onto the lead screw. And that does seem to lock it down some, but there's still some movement. I mean, if you look at the DRO, I'm getting a good bit of movement, and you can actually see it. So that's one way. I guess you could really, turn the lead screw and take up any slack to get it exactly like you want. But there's a lot of fiddling to do that. Another option I've seen people do is if you have a lock on your tailstock, and I do, is to bring the tailstock up, and well, we can't do it right here. Let me show you. Is to bring the tailstock up and basically kind of jam the tailstock against the carriage to kind of like pin the carriage from moving. And that does, once I zero my DRO here, that's pretty stable. I mean, that's, you're not getting much movement at all that way. You might get some this way, but you don't get any movement that way. But as you can see, if you still have your compound on, you kind of run into the compound runs into the tailstock, so you kind of limited in what you can do there. I guess I could take off, I do want to eliminate my compound because I really don't use it. But what I want to go ahead and do is the third option is to put in a carriage lock, and it's basically a hole that I'll drill right here in the carriage to go through it, and then put a bolt down, and then have a piece of metal under the ways that I can tighten down that bolt, and it will pull it tight and lock the carriage. And that's pretty much what this does. Is there's a piece of metal down there under the tailstock, and when I pull this handle up, it just basically tightens it up. And that seems like a pretty good method. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and just take you along on this journey, and you can watch me build it. Well, I've taken my tailstock off the lathe for about the 100th time, and this is the little piece of metal right here that gets pulled down by that nut, or pulled up by that nut, to tighten on the under the ways to clamp the tailstock to. So what I want to do is just measure this piece of metal here, and it's 36.02 millimeters wide. I don't think this way really matters that much because it's going to be sliding that direction, and it doesn't matter how big a piece of metal is, but the width does. So I need to cut a piece of steel that's 36.02 millimeters or thereabouts, maybe a little smaller. But let's go ahead and do that. I got a piece of metal, and I'll show you what I've got the pieces to build this. The supplies I got to build this carriage lock, I got a piece of just some flat bar steel from the hardware store. And this 2x36 is what it started out as. And this should be okay. It's an 1/8 inch thickness. So, but if I need to, I might need to redo this if this starts to bend. But at least this should prove the concept and get me started. I got some M8 1.5 by 35 millimeter socket cap screws. So this is what will go down into this flat bar steel and pull it up against the bottom of the ways. I got a drill bit that's a little bigger than that to drill through my my carriage, so that'll go to set this. And then I bought this little set here, and it's just a tap, an M8 by 125 tap, and the right size drill for that. I really didn't have a good drill for this, so I just went ahead and bought this little kit that has the drill and the tap together. So I thought that was pretty cool. So what the first thing I need to do is just take this piece of flat bar steel here, and we're going to cut it to fit under that ways. So we'll cut that the bottom piece. I got that metal clamped up in this big chop saw that I have that I used when I made the metal railing. That's what I used it for. So don't get really much chance to use this guy, but let's go ahead and do this. So I'll go ahead and cut that piece of metal. Well, it's got quite a burr on it, but it cut it straight, so let's take it over to the sander and try to smooth down that burr. Well, we got a mark right here in the middle of this piece of metal, so we're going to go take it over to the drill press, and we're going to take this here, the drill bit that came with this tap, and drill that hole. And I think this is a size, let's see what size it is. I know it's 7 something. But this is the drill bit that's supposed to use for a 8 by 1.25 tap. So this will be the right drill. Got that piece chucked up securely in the drill bit. A little bit of cutting fluid. Put that on there. And let's drill him. Now we got the tap into the drill press, and we're not going to turn it on, although if we turn it on, make sure that it's holding it nice and straight. Is we're going to do it just by hand, but use the drill press quill. So we'll pull it down, turn it by hand, that way we're sure that we've got these threads going straight up and down with that piece of metal. Alright, and shouldn't take long. A little tapping fluid on here. Just want to make sure we don't, we have that. There's some tapping fluid all over it. Maybe a little too much, but hey, it's better too much than not enough. So get him in that hole, and we just start turning the tap with our hands. And we don't turn on the drill press. And we might need to tighten this quill down really good and tight. There we go. Turn it, maybe back it up a little bit. Break any kind of chips. Turn it some more. Back it up, break any kind of chips, turn some more. It's just going down in there. Back it up, turn some more. Yeah, I think we got it just about. I think we got it. Oh yeah, he is through. So he is nice and down in there. All the way down and through. And got those threads nice and level. Alright, we just back them all the way out. And we'll go check them against the bolt that we're going to be using. Well, this is the basis for our carriage lock. So the M8 bolt will go down into this piece of metal and pull it up. So now we just need to drill a hole in the carriage for this guy. That's going to be just a little bit bigger than this bolt, so we can mount it. Put a little tapping fluid here. Already put a little dent in there. Cutting fluid, and then we drill. Now we just need to feed this guy down through under the ways, and then put the bolt in. So feeding down from this end all the way. And then we just put the bolt through there. Get under there where I can hold him. Alright. Alright. Let's give him a test. Let's just clamp him down. See how it works. Oh yeah, well, a little tighter. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Alright, this carriage lock's working pretty good. Basically, I can move my carriage back and forth, no problem. And then when I want to, I just take this X key right here, give him a good tighten down. When I do that, he is locked. He's not moving. So that's pretty good. Then when I just want to move my carriage again, just take this X key and unlock him. Yep. A little tight, but there we go. And I can move it again. Alright. So this will help me make those ring inlays and keep the carriage steady when I'm doing that. And that's what I do, is I make custom rings, inlay and overlay from heritage and legacy woods, from the deck of battleships, from Major League Baseball bats, from the stock of an M1 Garand, from custom woods. If you like videos about rings, check out hillcountryrings.com or some of my other videos on this channel. And if you'd like to like and subscribe, that would really help the channel. So I'd love to make a ring for you, and until we meet again, thanks everybody.